In the last video, I bought an old downhill bike and set out to restore it. A year and a half later. Now time is of the essence and I need to finish this project before my big trip to Snowshoe, which is now only 3 weeks away. And I need to stay within my $500 budget. So far, I've only torn down the bike and replaced the pivot bearings, but there is still much to do. My goal is to try and repair as much of the bike as I possibly can. But there are some instances where I'll have to pick up new parts, whether I like it or not. My next task is the fork, a mid-2000s era RockShox Boxer. These older Boxers are built with 32mm stanchions, which is basically what you'll find on an XC fork today. Ironically, the XC fork on my XC bike has 35mm stanchions. RockShox stopped supporting the 32mm Boxer years ago. Buying another fork is out of the question since it'll pretty much blow my $500 budget out of the water. You can tell that this bike hasn't seen much maintenance by the condition of the grease.
If you let grease sit long enough, the grease turns to glue. There's nothing lubricating about this. Of all the things to get this off, goof off. Pro Strength Adhesive Remover.
Let's get this fork disassembled and rebuilt.
Plenty of oil in there. It doesn't even look all that bad. Alright, there we go. Oop, oop. A bit of oil.
Being this old, this Boxer will need new seals. Luckily, the seals are cross-compatible with other 32mm RockShox forks like the Reba. I bought this cheap seal installation tool off of eBay, and well, guess what? It's the wrong one.
Maybe? Nope. Alright, so we're delayed now because I had the wrong seal tool. This one doesn't work for the oil seal. The oil seal sits deeper in the legs and I can't pound it in. I tried using a 30mm socket and that almost destroyed the legs, so I gotta be careful. So we're gonna suck it up. I'm gonna pay basically the gouging price. I ordered it on Amazon for $28 plus tax. It'll be here in 2 days. So, project on hold.
Come on. Almost there. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Like 32mm stanchions on downhill forks, another uncommon feature on old downhill bikes are these open race headset bearings. But in the spirit of this build, I decided to keep with that theme and use this FSA Pig headset.
This is an FSA number 7, also known as the Pig. This is a DH level headset. It is open race bearings, but they are pretty burly. Those are the ones that were on the bike already. So yeah, these will still be good. I'm just doing it to kind of show that you don't necessarily have to have sealed bearings. This headset was $19.99 and it's solid. These are chromoly cups.
They're heavy. They're strong. These are designed for a downhill bike. I think we're gonna be just fine with these.
This keeps the bike old school and, well, most importantly, within budget. To finish off the fork and headset install, we're going to install these rubber stanchion protectors. Remember when I said parts for these forks are hard to find? Well, I found these in the UK and they were new old stock, and guess what? They were not cheap. The wheels were out of true, so this is a good time to get them back into alignment. Years of neglect have left these wheels looking dull. I really like the idea of polished wheels, so we're going to use a product called Flitz Polish to shine these up. Look at the difference here. Now they look much better. I wanted to upgrade the cranks and bottom bracket, but replacements will be expensive. After a good cleaning and re-grease, the bottom bracket is spinning nicely. The crank arms look pretty ugly. They are still functional, but they look old and worn, and I've got an idea. Now, I didn't strip the cranks fully. I just polished the flat surfaces and gave this a polished, distressed look. There's one thing about raw aluminum, and that is it will oxidize over time. So I sprayed it with this stuff called AlumaClear, which is a clear coat for aluminum. Let's admire these for a moment. I have to admit they came out pretty awesome. Up next is the drivetrain. The drivetrain was long overdue for a refresh, so I rebuilt the derailleur, putting fresh jockey wheels to help smooth out the shifting. The shifter itself needed a new cable, so I swapped that out for a fresh one.
Man, that's on pretty good.
The last crucial bit was the brake set. I found a rebuild kit for the Avid Code 5 brakes, but things didn't turn out quite the way I'd hoped.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, come on. Totally stripped this bolt.
Even if I extracted the bolt, the likelihood of finding a replacement bolt on short notice is very slim. I'm desperate at this point. Luckily, I have a set of Magura MT30 brakes laying around. These are the cheapest 4-piston brakes in the Magura lineup. What's unique, or terrifying depending on your perspective, is that these brakes have plastic levers. At this point, I'll take my chances. Speaking of chances, I also swapped out the stock brake pads for these brake pads made by Galfer. These should give the brakes a little more bite, and being 2 pieces, they will dissipate the heat better. With less than 24 hours to go, I got the final touches on the bike, and the project is done. The shakedown ride is just going to have to be at Snowshoe itself. When we first got this bike, it was an unrideable mess. But with a little bit of work, some elbow grease, and a few new parts, you've got a working downhill bike. Let's take a moment to admire this beauty. After all these years, I finally got my own downhill bike. And it seems so right for this bike to be an old 26er. It's what always attracted me to this sport. After all these decades, did the downhill bike live up to my expectations? Well, I think you can tell from my voice. I hope you enjoyed this leg of my journey. Thanks for watching.
God, this bike is amazing.